Hey, this is Marcel, producer of Sports Inquirer, and we're here with Roger Kincaid, the head coach of Georgia State softball. The team had a 3-2 weekend this past weekend against some teams. Before we get to those games specifically, we discussed in our last meeting how you were anticipating the team being on the field and didn't know what to expect, but just overall impressions of the squad through the first 5 games.
Yeah, the other thing that got thrown into the mix was weather. We had some game time changes. We actually added a game on Friday to make that a doubleheader instead of a single game, and changed the game times on Saturday. So, sticking with our theme this year of, this is a plan until it's not the plan anymore. I thought the kids did a great job of adjusting to that, because as coaches and athletes, we like stability, we like schedules, we like routine. And that's probably the most thing I was proud of, is the fact that they were able to adapt to that and, not get confused, not get down. But the other thing is, we played a lot of kids. We played 18 kids over the weekend, pitched 6 pitchers over the weekend. And I think everybody did a great job that got able to participate. Saw some really, really good things out of the team. Saw a lot of things that we needed to work on, which is not unusual. That's what you want to figure out at the beginning of the year, because we want to progress through the year. We want to get better as we go through. So that's the biggest thing, is having things to work on. Started off 3-0, lost the last 2, which is kind of a bummer. I told the kids in life, you can't really choose the sequence of events. You got to create the sequence of events. So I had a nice walk-off in game 3. Got to celebrate that, and then had to turn around and play, a game right after. But overall, I'd give the weekend a B, and pleased with some things, but also concerned at some things we need to work on.
Well, those first 2 wins over Radford, you got complete games from Sophie, Mooney, and Emily Buck. And so what was good? What do you see from them in the circle to have some pretty dominant pitching performances?
Well, when you got to play 5 games on the weekend, it really helps when you can get 2 complete games from your starters. That means you're not burning through arms early, in the weekend. But that was pretty amazing that they were able to give us complete games, because it's tough for pitchers when they first start off. They got to build into that game mode. They got to build into that stamina that it takes, to do that. And I thought both of them threw well. Had some good strikeout numbers, which is great for us. I love that. And then Emily Buck threw a 1-hitter. I mean, she had a no-hitter going into, I believe it was the 5th inning, and had a no-hitter. Might have been the 6th inning, but she threw a 1-hitter. Yeah. And that was great. She was pitching so well, we didn't even realize she had a no-hitter until she gave up a hit. So that's just one of those things that, you're just in the moment. You're creating pitches and just doing work. So it was really impressive what those 2 did in the first 2 games.
Yeah, and you mentioned that Boise State went in 7 innings. Freshman Carolyn Deady with the game-winning single in the bottom of the 7th. What about that contest and being in that type of atmosphere? You have to come back and get a run to earn a victory. What do you think the team could take away from that?
Well, I think that's a great atmosphere for us to be in. It helps confidence-wise. But first and foremost, I want to give a shout-out to Macy Banks, making her debut as a freshman in that game, starting, giving us some quality innings. And then Savannah coming in after her. Savannah's been fighting an injury a little bit, so we didn't know what we were going to get from her. But as per her usual, she comes in and throws the ball well. And we were really pleased with that. And I will share a story with you. They walked the bases loaded to get to Deady. I'm standing at third base, and I don't know. I guess I'm just crazy. I was 100% convinced she was going to hit a grand slam. 100% convinced. And I had already planned in my mind what the celebration was going to be like. I was going to let her get 3/4 of the way home, and then I was going to follow her home. I was actually going to slide into home plate. I mean, I already made it. So I guess thank goodness she didn't hit a home run. That allowed me to not embarrass myself for the program. But I will tell you, when I saw them celebrate on the field, I saw them do that dog pile. It just that's why you come to the park. I mean, that's why we do this, and it was really good. And short answer to your question of my long-windedness, but I think it proved that, hey, we can get it done. Push comes to shove, we can get it done. And I got a lot of respect for that Boise team. I will tell you, they got a scary lineup, man. They got some really good pitchers. And I think by the end of the year, they will be a really, really good team in their conference. And I look forward to seeing how far they can go, because I think that's a quality win for us.
Yeah, you've got some good hitting performances. Daisy Hess, Baylee Sexton, Emily Brown, each hitting above the 400 batting average, and also Baylee Richardson, team high 6 RBIs. Are you surprised, or not surprised, but are the hitters maybe a little bit further ahead than you expected? Maybe at this time of year, considering the long layoff and just the start of the year.
Well, yeah, and the other thing that factors in is the weather. It's hard to hit in cold weather because the ball feels heavier, when you swing the bat. So, yeah, I was really pleased with that. I won't say that I was surprised. I was pleased. We had some really good performances up and down the lineup. I felt like Emily Brown, showed what she's capable of doing. We knew what she was capable of doing, and she's a sophomore now, and I feel like she's grown up a lot in a year and a half. And confidence-wise, I think she's at a really, really good place. And she did great. Baylee Sexton did great. Like you said, Daisy and Baylee Richardson, just some timely hits when we needed it. And that's what we talk about. We talk about situational hitting, making sure you're laser focused, don't give away any at bats. The left on base numbers are something that we look at, and we still have too many of those. We need to execute better when we got runners in scoring position. But I mean, what a great opportunity for Deady to get her first college hit, her first college walk off, all in the same game. It was really cool. She had her first college RBI on a sac fly against Radford, I think. But it was really cool. It was a great thing.
Yeah, and then lastly, you're heading on the road. Well, outside of the city of Atlanta for the first time this year, you have 2 games against North Carolina A&T and against UNC Wilmington. 4 games in a condensed weekend. You mentioned some things you want to improve on and get better at. What are some of those things you want to see improvement in these next 4 contests?
Well, I want to see us, like I said, timely hitting. When we have the opportunity to put a ball in play, we got to do so. Runners at third base are really, really important, especially when you got some of your kids that are at bat that can barrel the ball up. So they got to be looking for a ball they can hit to the grass so we can tag up. Those things right there, situational hitting, runners left on base. We played pretty well on defense for the most part, being really early in the season. I was really proud of that. Went through the first, 3 games with 0 errors. So that's great. And then we kind of backslid a little bit in game 4 and 5. So we need to clean that up. I thought the pitchers did outstanding. Everybody that got a chance did great. I mean, Julia Allen got to start a game, which was great to see her do that. And then Ellie Doolittle came in and got to get her feet wet as a freshman, which that's always good to get that out of the way. So, but I'm just looking forward to a great weekend. Weather-wise, we're hoping that we're going to get better weather. I mean, you know how that is early in our season. That's always hit or miss. So we're looking forward to it. A lot of COVID things that we're having to do for travel, with roommates and with bus rides, so that's a bit of a challenge. But, we have to manage that. We can't let that be something that influences our performance. So that's really my job, to make sure that we manage all that and it doesn't become a distraction for the kids.
All right. Well, thank you, Coach Kincaid, for your time, and good luck this weekend.
Thank you. Appreciate it. See ya.
All right, and that was Roger Kincaid, the head coach of Georgia State softball, about the first weekend of the season. Has some good tidbits about the pitching performances and the hitters and how they've evolved and improved over time, I guess, with the preseason and so things like that. So I'm glad that he was able to speak with us. And if you want to follow more of what we're doing, head to thesportsinquirer.net, or you can go to our social media platforms, all under Sports Inquirer, such as Twitter, Instagram, and Facebook. And then finally go to your podcast or audio provider and do a search as well, including SoundCloud, Google Podcast, things along those lines, YouTube. Make sure you go to those sites and give it a listen or watch the video that you're looking at right now or listening to. But until next time, be safe.